Welcome to Strides in Love. Before we begin, I just want to mention, if you are new here, please go listen to episode 1. That's the foundation. That's where we broke down what PCOS actually is, what it feels like, the types, the causes, all of it. It's your foundation. And if you're back, I'm so glad that you're here. It means the world. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something I genuinely could not stop thinking about when I found out. Because you know how last episode I kept saying PCOS, Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. Well, the name change. And I know, we literally just learned about it and now it's different. But it's okay because the reason why it changed is actually really important. And honestly, it's kind of validating every single woman who's ever felt confused, dismissed, or misunderstood because of the condition. The new name is Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. It's a mouthful. And by the end of this episode, you're going to understand why the name change actually matters and why it's good news for all of us. Let's get into it. So here's the thing. The name PCOS, Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, has been around for decades. And for decades, doctors, researchers, and patients have been saying this name is kind of a mess. Remember last episode when I told you that you don't even need to have cysts to have PCOS? The name literally has the word cyst in it, but cysts aren't even a requirement. Yeah, that was red flag number 1. But it goes deeper than that. The name PCOS makes it sound like it's purely an ovarian problem, like it's just a reproductive thing. When in reality, and again, we talked about this in episode 1, it affects your hormones, your metabolism, your skin, your mental health. It is literally a whole body condition. And the old name was hiding all of that. Now, think about it like this. Imagine you have a condition that's affecting your entire house. The roof, the plumbing, the electricity, the foundation, all of it. But the name of the condition only mentions one room. So everyone, including doctors, keep focusing on that one room and missing everything else. That's what was happening with PCOS. Because of this misleading name, up to 70% of women with the condition were going completely undiagnosed. That's 70%. Women were walking around with something that was affecting their entire body, and no one was connecting the dots because the name didn't tell the full story. And it just wasn't causing confusion. The name was also causing a stigma, particularly in cultures where reproductive health and fertility are tied to a woman's identity and worth. Just hearing the word syndrome attached to your ovaries could really be distressing. Women were reporting that the name itself were making them feel broken. So, in May 2026, literally a couple, I want to say 2 or 3 days after I uploaded the first episode, a massive global study was published by The Lancet, which is one of the most respected medical journals in the world, officially announcing the new name. After years of research, surveys with over 14,000 people, workshops across countries, and input from both patients and health professionals worldwide, they landed on PMOS, Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. Okay, let's break down a new name in the same way we broke down PCOS in the last episode. We're going to go word by word because once you get it, it actually makes more sense. Poly means many. That part stays. Endocrine, this is a big addition. So your endocrine is basically your body's hormone network. It includes things like your thyroid, your adrenal glands, your pancreas, your ovaries. Calling this condition polyendocrine, we're finally acknowledging that this isn't just one hormone gone rogue. It's multiple hormonal systems interacting with each other. Androgens, insulin, reproductive hormones, stress hormones. It's literally a whole hormonal conversation that's out of balance. Metabolic. This word recognizes something huge that the old name completely ignored. The metabolic side of the condition. Metabolism is basically how your body processes and uses energy. PMOS, things like insulin resistance, blood sugar regulation, weight management, and even heart health all play a part of the picture. Calling it metabolic means we're no longer pretending this condition just stops at the ovaries. Ovarian. The ovaries are still in the name because, yes, they're still involved. But notice it says ovarian, not ovarian cysts. No more implying cysts that may or may not even be there, just acknowledging the ovaries are a part of the system being affected. And syndrome, same as before, it's a collection of symptoms that show up together. So putting it all together, Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. Multiple hormone systems, plus metabolism, plus ovaries, all involved, PMOS. Now, I want to take a second to talk about how the name change happened, because I think it actually says something really powerful and also super intentional. This wasn't a handful of doctors sitting in a room deciding to rebrand something. This was one of the most extensive global health consensus processes ever done for one condition like this. They surveyed 14,000 people, patients, women living with this condition every single day, and health professionals from all over the world. They ran workshops across multiple countries. They translated everything into multiple languages to make sure voices from everywhere were included. They even brought in marketing experts to make sure that the new name wouldn't accidentally cause harm in certain cultures. And here's a part that I love. The patients were not an afterthought. Women with PMOS were involved in every single stage. In the governance, in the survey design, in the workshops, their lived experiences weren't just listened to, it was centered. And I want to give a big shout out to Verity, a UK patient charity. They actually helped lead the push for the name change back in 2023. Literally, regular women advocating for themselves and for millions of others, and it worked. The number one thing patients wanted from the new name was stigma avoidance. They didn't want a name that made them feel like their reproductive system was the problem. They wanted accuracy. They wanted a name that helped people understand the full picture, not just the fertility piece. And that's what PMOS is delivering. So here's a practical part. What does the name change actually mean for you right now? If you have a PCOS diagnosis, you still have the same condition. Nothing about your symptoms or your treatment has changed overnight. What has changed is the framework, the way doctors, researchers, and the public will start to understand and talk about it. And that matters more than you think. One of the biggest problems with PCOS was that up to 70% of people with it were never diagnosed. Why? Partly because the name made everyone focus on one thing, the ovarian cysts, the periods, and miss everything else. With a more accurate name that highlights hormones and metabolisms, doctors are more likely to look at the full picture. More women can get diagnosed sooner. Earlier diagnosis means earlier support. When a condition has an inaccurate name, research gets solid. Studies on the metabolic side of PCOS weren't always being connected to studies on a hormonal side. A unified, accurate name means coherent research, better funding, and ultimately better treatment for all of us. This one is personal because so many women with PCOS felt like their bodies were broken, like it was a reproductive failure, like it defined their worth. A name that doesn't lead with ovaries and cysts, a name that acknowledges that this is a complex hormonal and metabolic condition. That takes away some of the shame. Listen, you are not broken. You have a multi-system hormonal condition that scientists are finally catching up to. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. You're not gonna walk into your doctor's office and hear, you have PMOS. You're still gonna hear PCOS for a while. And that's because the official plan is a 3-year transition, with the new name being integrated into global healthcare guidelines by 2028. So don't panic if your doctor hasn't switched yet. I want to pause here and just acknowledge something. If you're sitting with a lot of feelings right now, girl, that's valid. You probably feel relieved, honestly, like a name that finally makes sense. Finally, someone is saying something bigger than just your ovaries. Or it can be frustrating, like we've been saying this condition was being misunderstood for years. What took so long? Or you're just confused because you literally just learned about PCOS in the last episode and now it's PMOS and your brain is doing a lot. It's all okay. All of it is valid. The important thing is that the change is happening. Science is listening, and this podcast exists so that you never feel like you have to navigate this alone. The name is changing because the conversation is finally catching up to what women with this condition have been experiencing their whole lives. That's worth acknowledging. So I want to wrap it up here because I've said a lot and I really want you guys to be able to digest it all. So here's what I want you to take away from today. PCOS has been officially renamed to PMOS, Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. This change happened because of a massive global effort involving over 14,000 patients and health professionals. The old name was inaccurate. It caused confusions, it delayed diagnosis, and it really created a stigma. The new name reflects the full reality of the condition: hormones, metabolism, and ovaries all together. And most importantly, this change is for you. For every woman who was told it's just your hormones without a real explanation, for every woman who spent years undiagnosed, for every woman who felt like her body was failing her when actually the system around her was failing to see the full picture. So in next week's episode, we're going to talk about things I'm asked a lot and just questions I also have had. So here's a little preview. We're going to talk about what to actually do after a diagnosis. Where do you start? What questions do you ask your doctor? What does managing actually look like on a day-to-day? If today's episode gave you an aha moment, send this to someone who needs it. Share it in your group chat, post it in your story. The more women who know about this, the better. And remember, you were made with purpose, on purpose. Until next time.